come where it's a full moon, right? That's supposed to be day one again, and that can interrupt to where it could be the 5th day before that new moon comes, and then now you start over on the 5th day, and the 6th day is supposed to be the 6th day, but now it's the 1st day again. Right. That's an example of being able to see holes in that. But then So, bro, hey, I appreciate you for your time coming out here. All praise to the Most High. Yes, sir. So, do you know anything about who we are?
12 tribes. We're part of the southern kingdom of Judah.
Say it again.
The 12 tribes of Israel, but we're from the southern kingdom of Judah.
Okay, so you know that. Yeah. How did you come to that discovery?
I mean, I was one day, they told me I wasn't black. You know, they kind of just really shift my paradigm of thinking because I'm not the color black. Why
right.
We call each other that.
Right.
And then I was given the gems that Christ was a black man.
Did you come out here to learn that, or where did you learn that at?
So I'm from the East Coast, and my uncle, he's into it, but like, you know, like everybody who Israelites, sometimes they be going down wrong.
Okay.
Past like Book of Enoch and stuff like that.
Yeah, right. That's right. Okay, so you know a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. So then, understanding that you're Israel, what is the responsibility that involves that? Keeping the commandments. So where you at with that?
I never eat swine, but I stopped eating shellfish. I just got to get my fringes. I got fringes on some of my shirts, but I don't have it on all of my shirts.
Man, you just better know a lot. Okay, what else?
I try to keep the holidays, the high holy days when I can. Only difference is because different camps teach different stuff. So I've heard Saturday is the Sabbath. I heard it goes off the lunar calendar.
Yeah. So what you believe in?
I don't know.
Okay, let's help you out with that.
Sometimes I do both. So
okay. So before you get that, hey, find me the one. Let thy understanding be the same. It's in Sirach. So now while he's getting that, get Exodus 20 and 8. Because go ahead. What you about to say? That's what's up. So guess what? You as a shepherd of your household and as a pillar, you got to make sure that you got a foundation where you start to build yourself up off of, that you have confidence in, and then start to be an example for your wife. You know what I'm saying? Because a part of nation building that requires the men to set things in order and for the women to support them in their endeavors. So now watch this. Read this. You got it? Okay, read that.
The book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God.
So you know what's heavy about this scripture? It's very, very clear, right? It says 6 days do all your work, but the 7th day is the Lord. So you know what that means? That means it's an ongoing thing to where you got day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, and then that 7th day will be your holy day. And it should restart over. It should be a continuation. But then what happens is when you involve the lunar Sabbath into the equation, guess what? You can have the 7 days, but as soon as that day comes where it's a full moon, right? That's supposed to be day 1 again, and that can interrupt to where it could be the 5th day before that new moon comes, and then now you start over on the 5th day, and the 6th day is supposed to be the 6th day, but now it's the 1st day again. That's an example of being able to see holes in that, but then I'm going to show you something. Read that.
The book of Sirach, chapter 5, verse 10. Be steadfast in thy understanding.
So as you're starting to create a foundation in Christ, one way to appropriately build yourself up and to grow, you got to always start to have the same understanding. Meaning you will find one foundation and you start to build up off of it. But what tends to happen is if you watch this camp and then you watch that camp, you'll never properly grow because they'll tell you one thing, you start to follow that, but then now there's a contradiction because you remember hearing one thing from this teacher to where you start to follow after them. So then now you stop listening to them, now you're going to them, now you're picking and choosing. That's what you call an itching ear. You don't want to do that to yourself. But watch this, read it again.
Be steadfast in thy understanding, and let thy word be the same.
See that? You're supposed to let your understanding be the same. That's how you're going to properly grow. So then watch this, get Genesis 1 and 5.
The book of Genesis, chapter 1 and verse 5. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day.
Right there, verse 14.
Verse 14. And God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons, and for days and years. And let them be for lights and the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and it was so.
So on day 4, what did God create right there? The firmament. Read.
Verse 16, and God made 2 great lights, the greater light to rule the day.
What is that right there? The sun. Read.
And the lesser light to rule the night.
So what is that? So on the 4th day, God created the moon and he created the sun, right? That happened on the 4th day. And this is with God's calendar time, right? Right. But then also too, he's being literal for us to understand how his time works, right?
What club was that at?
That was admit that a lot of people don't even realize they.
I've called her. She hasn't responded. I've called her more than a few times.
With the Zulu Nation, I'm like, what the hell is this? I know nobody know what I'm talking about. You'll leave me on the island by myself. I don't know what the hell Bishop's talking about. That's what y'all do. Then after class, yeah, I knew what you were talking about. I just don't want to be caught out there. The hell is this? Get on my damn nerves. So read that again.
Meaning that this is day 1 in God's time. I'm sorry, you got day 1, you got day 2. This is day 4 in God's time. But then day 4, he created the sun and the moon. But then watch this. Jump to chapter 2, verse 1.
Genesis chapter 2 and verse 1. Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. And on the 7th day, God ended his work, which he had made. And he rested on the 7th day from all his work, which he had made. And God blessed the 7th day and sanctified it.
You see that? So it said God blessed the 7th day and he sanctified that day. Now, what correlates with what I'm bringing this out? Because if you deal with the lunar, which God obviously didn't deal with there, he had the 7th day after the 4th day when he created the sun and the moon. Those two don't go together like that. What's your name? I want to make sure I got your name too. Deshaun. Okay, Deshaun. So now watch this, Deshaun. So in Genesis chapter 1, verses 14 through 17, it dealt with the Lord creating those 2 lights, one the moon and one the sun, right? So then now, that was the 4th day. The 7th day, God rested on the Sabbath, right? So then now, I want to deal with the purpose for the moon, just to be able to show you what that's made for, but showing that that don't correlate at all dealing with the Sabbath day. It was made for a purpose, but not for that purpose. Read that.
Sirach chapter 43 and verse 6. He made the moon also to serve in her seasons.
He made the moon to serve in its seasons. And I'm going to show you what those seasons are. Read.
For a declaration of times and a sign of the world.
So he made the moon in its seasons to serve for a declaration of time, as well as things that's supposed to come, signs is going to happen, right? So now, dealing with the topic of the moon, God created it for that purpose, for seasons. But what seasons is he referring to? So Leviticus 23, Leviticus chapter 23, and I think it's starting at verse 3. Yeah, there you go, right there, verse 3. Watch this. So now, read verse 1.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, concerning the feasts of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations, even these are my feasts.
Now watch this. Listen closely. Read.
6 days shall work be done, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of rest and holy convocation. Ye shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath of the Lord in all your dwellings.
So that's the day that the Lord has sanctified, the 7th day, right? Now watch this, because we're dealing with one particular word I want you to keep key to. Read that.
Verse 4. These are the feasts of the Lord, even holy convocations.
So now we're dealing with the feast outside of the Lord's Sabbath day. Read.
Which ye shall proclaim in their seasons.
In their what?
In their seasons.
So then read that again.
Sirach 43 and 6. He made the moon also to serve in her season.
You see that? So the moon was made for the holy days in their seasons.
Right.
By example, when does Passover start? What season? Springtime. That's a season. And then you go to Leviticus 23 to understand that season.
Right.
You follow me? Meaning that, okay, now life is starting to grow again, springtime is coming in, the plants, so forth and so on. The first moon that you see where it's full, now we're in that spring season. Now we're in that month called Abib when you read Exodus 13. You follow me? That's a season. Just like when you understand tabernacles, when does that fall? I mean, when does that happen? I just said it kind of. In fall. Yeah, it happens in the fall. Right. And then you utilize the moon for that purpose. But that's why the moon was created. It wasn't created for the Sabbath day. That's why when we read in Leviticus 23, he dealt with the Sabbath day first, saying, this is my seventh day that I sanctify. And then he went to the feast days in their seasons. So then we went to the moon in Sirach 43 to say that the moon was made for seasons. Right. You follow? Yep.
So every time it's a full moon, it's a new season, or I'm not too familiar.
Okay, so go to Psalms 81. Is that what I'm looking for? And then Numbers 10 and 9.
Yeah, 3. The book of Psalms, chapter 81 and verse 3. Blow up the trumpet and the new moon.
And when?
And the new moon.
So blow up the trumpet and the new moon. The new moon, the word moon, it only means month when you look it up. That's all it means. New moon, new month. That's when a month starts. You follow me? New moon, new month. Read.
And the time appointed on our solemn feast day. For this was a statute for Israel and a law of the God of Jacob.
So every time there's a new moon, it's a feast day. Because why? It's new moon celebration. So then, remember how he said this is a law that the Lord has established in Jacob, right? So where would that law be found? That it has to be somewhere in the scriptures. This is the law right here. Read.
The book of Numbers, chapter 10, verse 10. Also in the day of your gladness, and in your solemn days, and in the beginning of your months.
You see that? Read.
Ye shall blow with the trumpets.
So read that part again.
For this, verse 3, blow up the trumpet and the new moon.
Read that again.
In the beginning of your months, ye shall blow with the trumpets over your burnt offerings.
You see that? You see how simple the precept is? It says, new moon here, blow up the trumpets. It's a law. Then we went to the actual law in the book of Numbers to where it told you to blow up the trumpets in a new month. You follow me? So then on these days, just as well as when you read Leviticus 23, one of the main commandments is what? We're supposed to have a holy convocation. We're supposed to come together. But then in order to come together, you got to find one solid foundation and start to build yourself up off of that. You follow me?
Nation is men leading by example. Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is you.
And finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord. His word